This episode is sponsored by Well Balanced Nutrition and 360 Health.
Welcome to the Health Geeks Book Club podcast. Listen in as Kristen Norton and Eleanor Russell review all those great health and wellness books you've been wanting to read or you have read and want to talk about. Here's Kristen and Eleanor.
Well, hello, Kristen.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I've been kind of watching the news, and I know a lot of times we don't attach a date to our episodes so that when people are listening to them, it's not tied to any specific time. However, this has been the week and a half of the Olympics, right?
That's right.
So it's been kind of exciting to watch these healthy people perform at an optimum level. And yet, are they really healthy? And so I think we had a really interesting demonstration of a healthy athlete saying, I'm at a place where I need to stop. And she called the shots. And Simone Biles pulled herself out. And I was thinking about you and me, how we had been on this run since, wintertime of doing episodes that we're loving doing, of our book reviews. But it sort of felt like we needed to take a break. And I was a little resistant because I'm a little bit of a workaholic. I said, no, we can't do that. We have to have something out there every week or people get bored. They won't listen anymore. Are you still out there, audience? We hope you are, because we took a break.
That's right. After 25 episodes in a row, we took 1 week off, and we're back.
And how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel refreshed.
Me too. It was worth it, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's this break you're speaking of?
Well, yeah, I guess we shouldn't say break because that means it hurts. We took some time for ourselves. We did the self-compassion thing.
Yeah, and all of the books that we've read really, to implement some of these health and wellness behaviors.
Yes.
It requires a step back from our go, 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 go life. And so it seems like this theme of being able to take a break or a breath.
Yeah.
Or a step back is really important. And then here we have Simone Biles having the courage to take a really big break.
Huge
And
strength.
The conversations out there are crazy. There's half of the world supporting her and saying, that's wonderful that you put mental health first. And then it feels like the other half of the world is like, you're a quitter. Why are you giving up on your team? Mm-hmm. And this just is a good example of the courage it takes to listen to that inner voice when you need a break and be brave enough to take it, regardless of the stuff people are going to say or think about you.
Right, and I think that's one of the things that you and I are hoping people are finding in these book reviews that we're doing is to learn how to, listen. And how do you listen to your body? How do you hear it tell you enough's enough, or I need a break, or I can go further. I can do more than you think I can do. And kind of understand what your body's telling you. And that takes a little training, I think, or reflection.
Definitely reflection. And I was reflecting on the way here that, we've got to draw the line because I think there is...
You mean boundaries?
Yes, set boundaries. There's a book about boundaries, by the
Brown,
way.
right? Brene Brown says boundaries.
Oh, yes, and I love Brene Brown. She is good on boundaries. But there's this line that we have to consider between, a healthy striving to be better, to push our limits, to get out of our comfort zone, and going too far, getting to burnout, doing things that we could cause injury for ourselves if we're talking about physical, like the Olympics. Or
she could break her neck doing those things. I mean,
that's right. And if your mind and body don't feel connected, then why would you go and do that double, triple flip and twist?
And you are a former gymnast, right? You're not still practicing gymnastics.
No, I'm not still. But yes, I did gymnastics all through grade school and then cheerleading in college. So I know the mental strength and requirements that have to be there. And I feel bad for her of all the backlash of people saying that she quit.
Well, she just got a bronze. I heard that driving in. So she did one more final event, and it's her 7th medal, I think.
That was the balance beam.
Mm-hmm.
She got a bronze on beam. Cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
But I mean, she took her break, but then competed again after all this flap, which to me is also huge.
So courageous.
Yeah, and how do you pull it together and really just be quiet and do your thing?
Yeah.
But that striving and pushing, I think that is an American tradition, is success and effort and work hard to succeed. And we sometimes get that messed up.
Right. Or, that line is blurry because
it is true in a way.
At what cost are we going to continue to push? So I saw this post on Facebook that really got me thinking about, oh gosh, I'm going to blank her name. Oh, Carrie Shrug. Mm-hmm. So, one father who has little girls who are in gymnastics was, following Simone and all of this and was like, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I was excited to show my kids how Carrie pushed through on that final vault. And then when I rewatched it and my kids were not feeling the same sense of glory that I remember feeling when I originally watched it, he says, I had a change of heart because the kids said, wait, why did she do that vault if she was hurt? And in the video, you see her coach saying, you need to do this vault. And she's like, I don't know if I can. My leg, it hurts. And he's like, you need to do this vault for us.
For us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, at what cost are you persevering and pushing past what is good for you for other people? And I think the people who are judging Simone right now are looking at it from kind of a selfish viewpoint. Like, I wanted to see her compete, or she's letting down her team. But I think she knew where to draw the line, and she trusted her teammates that they could have their chance and that they could pull through for her.
Yeah, and she was able to call the shot for herself, and it made me think of Wally Funk, the lady that just went up in the, it was Bezos. Whose space shot was she on? The woman, the 80-year-old woman.
That was Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. So Wally Funk, in her, at the top of her game, was probably the best prepared person on the team of astronauts, but she didn't get picked.
Because she was a woman.
Yeah. So she didn't get to call the shot on how hard she wanted to push herself. And so here, 80 years later, she's up in the capsule doing what she would have done as a 20-year-old. I mean, the ones that followed did more because they went into orbit. But at the time she would have been selected, she didn't get to do it. And I think it's interesting on who calls the shot for us. Does your coach call it for you? Do you call it for you? Does your organization call it for you because the parameters of your work? Or do you, So I think our message is listen to your body. And if other people are calling your shots, you have a voice. And you should express it. I mean, just to not express it. And you may still go on and do the wrong thing, but at least to be true to yourself, to say, I knew it was wrong. I said it was wrong. I did it anyway. And look what happened.
Yeah. And pay attention to, when we say listen to your body, pay attention to your mental space and your physical being, how it feels. And I think the other message that is weighing heavy on me too is that, speaking of Brene Brown, I love something that she says, that in the absence of information, our brain creates a story. And as I've been reading the commentary about Simone, I feel like these people are just their brains are inputting a story, and therefore they feel like they can judge her situation. But nobody truly knows what it's like to be in her mind or in her body. And there could be shoulds and shouldn'ts, but you don't really know. And I think that that's important for us to realize, that our brains will make up a story, and we don't really know the full story. So if we could just step back and preserve that judgment and just support her for what she's going through, and just think about how we do or don't pay attention to our own lines and boundaries that we need to draw, and how we judge other people for setting a boundary for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that takes us back to that self-compassion book about comparing, and what, the self-confidence and self-esteem, and then that can get out of whack because instead of assessing our own things, we're comparing to somebody else. And I think that armchair quarterbacking is an example of that. I don't know how to do what she's doing, but boy, I'm going to tell it that she's not doing it right.
Exactly.
I've never lived that life. I've never traveled that schedule. I've never done those workouts all those times. But boy, I know what she should be doing. And I think we need to catch ourselves on that because it is so easy to divert to somebody else's business than our own.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, that might bring us to a suggestion for looking for some new books on boundaries, or where is the health lesson in how to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure there's some literature out there in the wellness field that would be on this same topic that we might pick a title from.
Yeah, if you're listening and you know of a good book about boundaries, drop us a line on our Facebook page and let us know, because that would be a really great book to read and talk about.
Maybe, because I do think it's part of the wellness journey.
Yeah, and I think there are a couple titles out there. I just don't know which one would be the best to read.
So if you're interested in living a healthy life, I'd be loving to talk to you sometime. I'm Eleanor Russell, 360health4u.com. And Kristen?
I am Kristen Norton of Well Balanced Nutrition. And if you're listening to this in August, it's all about meal planning over at Well Balanced Nutrition. So come check us out. And thanks for listening today.
Have a great day, everybody.
The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and are not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted, and no part can be reproduced without the express written consent of Kristen and Eleanor.